The future of our coral reefs is white. I'm Bebe, and I'm here to give you a snapshot of what various coral reefs around the island look like today and what they are projected to look like in the near future. The purpose of my project is to make a photographic record of the current state of the coral reef habitats around Oahu. Organizations such as NOAA and Hawaii's DLNR can use these photographs in the future to compare the state of what the coral reef habitats look like then to what they look like now. In order to collect my data, I paddled out to most of these reefs in my OC1 and went freediving with a GoPro to collect video footage and photographic footage to add to my photographic record. The present-day conditions of the coral reefs of Oahu. The present-day coral reefs have suffered significant damage over the past few years. A little over 32% of Oahu's coral reefs have been damaged or bleached due to an increase in oceanic temperatures and harmful human activity. The following slides include my photographic record and a video of the reef located off of China Walls. China Walls Reef is located in East Honolulu. While it is a deeper reef, it is still heavily exposed to immense amounts of human activity. China Walls is located in Hanauma Bay. This is a popular spot for freediving, surfing, boating, and scuba diving. Therefore, the coral reef habitats in this bay are constantly exposed to toxic substances, plastic pollution, and sedimentation. The following slides include my photographic record and a video of the reef located in Hanauma Bay. Hanauma Bay Reef is located in Waikiki. This shallow reef is an intensely popular tourist attraction. Although all visitors must pay to get in and watch a video with rules on how to protect the reef, non-reef safe sunscreens, though against the rules, and their harmful chemicals such as oxybenzene and ditoxin still make their way into the water and harm the reef. Many tourists do not follow the guidelines of not touching the coral as well. Therefore, physical degradation is a major issue here. Finally, due to the immense amounts of human activity and the stirring of the seafloor, sedimentation was worse here than any other reef that I observed. The following slides include my photographic record and a video of the reef located outside of the Outrigger Canoe Club in Waikiki Beach. The Outrigger Reef is hidden to the left of Waikiki. However, it is still exposed to immense amounts of harmful human activity that degrades these coral reef habitats every single day. The bleaching of this reef, as well as all the reefs in Waikiki, is mostly due to the exposure of these reefs to harmful activities, such as harmful toxins such as those found in sunscreen and urban runoff. The following slides include my photographic record and a video of the reef located off of Lanikai Beach Park. Over the last few years, Lanikai Beach Park has suffered the most amount of coral bleaching compared to all the other reefs in Oahu. 50% of the coral reef habitats have been bleached or destroyed by harmful human activities and the influx of toxic substances as it becomes more and more of a popular tourist attraction. So why did I choose these 4 reefs? I chose these reefs because they are some of the hardest hit reefs due to their location off of heavily populated beaches. Therefore, they are exposed to intense amounts of human activity. They are also all fed by different watersheds. Therefore, their exposure to different levels of urban, agricultural, and construction runoffs vary their exposure to the pollutants that are carried within each of these runoffs. This allows us to compare what local threats pose the greatest threat to our coral reefs. One of the conclusions I was able to make from my coral reef observation was that there is a presence of eutrophication. The evidence was major algal blooms covering the surface waters above the coral reefs. This may result in a dead zone. The long-term effect of eutrophication is dangerous. As many algal blooms die, they become BOD, and anaerobic bacteria in the water consume it while consuming all the other oxygen in the water as well. The result is a dead zone, hypoxic conditions in which no plants or animals can survive, including the coral. Another conclusion I was able to make from my coral reef observation was the presence of toxic substances. The evidence was mass bleaching of coral reefs due to runoffs containing heavy metals, pesticides, fertilizers, sunscreens, and pharmaceuticals. The long-term effect of exposure to toxic substances can affect the coral's reproduction, growth, and feeding, and other physiological processes, including those that involve the symbiotic algae that live in the coral. Damage to the algae's partnership with the coral, as well as damage to the coral itself, will result in bleaching. Furthermore, I was able to include the presence of sedimentation in many of our coral reefs. The evidence was section of the coral reefs buried under sediment. Sedimentation was the biggest problem in Hanauma Bay due to the immense amounts of human activity stirring up the ocean floor. The long-term effects of sedimentation are dangerous, because sedimentation can smother corals and interfere with its ability to grow, feed, and reproduce. Sedimentation has been identified as a primary stressor to the survival of coral reefs in Hawaii. In an article called Sedimentation and Coral Reef Development in Turbid Water, written by K.J. Roy, when the turbidity of the water increases due to sedimentation, the development of the coral reefs is severely stunted. With about half the growth rate that the coral reef would normally have in clear water, the health and structure of the coral reefs are adversely affected by the turbidity. My final conclusion from my reef observation was the presence of trash and microplastic pollution. Evidence of larger objects such as plastic bags and bottles were snagged onto the coral, while smaller objects such as straws, bottle caps, and microplastics were found embedded in the sea floor, in the reef, and in the digestive tracts of a few fish. Larger objects block the reef from sunlight and inhibit it from performing photosynthesis, while smaller objects are consumed by the coral, fish, sea turtles, and other marine animals, blocking their digestive tracts as well as introducing toxins. According to the EPA, global threats such as ocean acidification, as well as the rise in sea temperatures and sea level, have all been directly linked to the major coral bleaching activities in Hawaii and around the globe. The increase in CO2 levels is also directly related to the rise in temperatures and sea levels. CO2 has an immense heat-trapping capacity due to its structure, which allows it to trap heat in the atmosphere better than any of the other greenhouse gases. The intense increase of CO2 levels in the atmosphere is directly related to the increase in atmospheric temperatures as well as oceanic temperatures. The increase in oceanic temperatures leads to thermal expansion of the water, melting of the ice caps and glaciers, which both lead to a sea level rise. Therefore, the increase in levels of CO2 is the cause of the global threats that are adversely affecting our coral reefs. Unfortunately, the bleaching of our coral reefs is expected to exponentially increase within the next few years. With global rise in water temperatures, sea levels, and ocean acidification, Hawaii has been projected to experience a large-scale loss of many of our reefs. But there is still hope. According to the DLNR's Division of Aquatic Resources, bleaching has not been as severe in some areas compared to previous years. However, it is still important that we protect our reefs. According to the DLNR's rapid assessment of the coral reef health across the state, there was a substantial amount of coral bleaching found throughout the islands. So as long as we malama our aina, we can stop any further destruction happening to our coral reefs. To ensure that my work makes a lasting impact, I've written an article that will be featured in the next issue of the Seawards magazine for the Marine Option Program at the University of Hawaii.